Welcome to the Viking Age podcast. It's the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. My name is Chris Schad. I write for FanSided and Zone Coverage. My co-host is Adam Patrick, one of the lead NFL editors for FanSided and managing editor of the VikingAge.com. We do this right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel every Tuesday and Friday morning. We're also in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can spread the word to the masses. On today's episode, hold up. 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 We dem boys. The Vikings beat the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. JJ McCarthy answers the bell for now. And the case for a Vikings rebound in 2026 if Kevin O'Connell allows it to happen. But outside of my crappy Wiz Khalifa impression that probably wasn't funny, let's start with the lead here. JJ McCarthy, another good game against the Dallas Cowboys. 15 of 24, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception. The interception was the first pass of the game. So if you take that out, it was actually a very good night for JJ McCarthy. He also scored a rushing touchdown. Yes, it was against Matty Eberflus's defense. Yes, he missed Justin Jefferson a few times, but it was another step in the right direction. So what did you think about JJ McCarthy's performance against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night?
He looked like he was having fun, cool, calm, and collected. He didn't look like the moment was too big for him under the lights and big, shiny Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium. I mean, that pick was like a fluke. It got tipped and then tipped by like 5 other people before it landed in the hands of Quinnen Williams, who is known, as just a ball hawk in the defensive backfield. And he didn't really I don't know the official numbers, but I don't remember him having, any or too many turnover-worthy plays, where the ball could have been potentially picked off. I think if he threw an incomplete pass, it was just an incomplete pass, or it hit Justin Jefferson's hands and didn't turn into a catch. So, um, I think it was another step in the right direction. I think with the Commanders, you have to consider who they are playing. The Cowboys' defense has been one of the worst in the league this year. I know they've made some strides in the last few weeks with their new additions, but their secondary is still awful, and that was pretty evident last night. But yeah, just but also you look at a team like the Ravens or the Bears, and their defenses are not that great either this year. And McCarthy struggled against those two teams. So I think McCarthy likes how the offense is being run right now. He feels comfortable. He's not nervous. He's not worrying about his footwork every time he drops back. And it's translating into the Vikings offense moving the ball really well, and the Vikings winning games. Now, is this going to continue into the next season? It's to be determined because they're playing the Giants next week, and I expect probably something similar from McCarthy again. And then, they play the Lions. Their defense, not that great either. And then play against the Packers without Micah Parsons. So, there's a chance that McCarthy could look really good in these last 5 games for the Vikings. And then, they have a real decision to make in the offseason what they want to do at quarterback. I would assume that they would at least give him the start of the year next year to see if he can still be QB1, unless, somebody from high above in the office wants them to go after somebody who used to play for the Packers to be their quarterback. But I liked what I saw. I want this kid to succeed. And last night was fun because it showed a lot of his potential and the reason why a lot of people like him. And I hope it can continue. But like a lot of us have been saying, we're not sure because Kevin O'Connell was so hesitant to adjust his offense to fit JJ McCarthy and make him comfortable that, it's right to be skeptical about him sticking with it.
Oh, I didn't realize you were done. I
But
thought you had something else to say. No, but I mean, what I was thinking of saying, the one thing that stuck out to me while watching the game was a report by Melissa Stark, who, they talked to McCarthy and the rest of the players that are the key figures involved in the game. We'll put it that way. And she had mentioned that McCarthy told her that it was the first portion of this season was like being thrown into a washing machine, which sounds like fun if you're a kid. I do remember when I was a kid, they had the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon, and like that was a thing. Like, don't go in the dryer because it gets super hot and you're gonna get tossed all over the place. Sounds like fun. Definitely don't want to do that. No. But like you said it perfectly. The confidence is growing with JJ McCarthy. When I watch him right now, he's not thinking about 20,000 different things because his coach is the most obsessed coach about feet since Rex Ryan. There's 20,000 things going in his mind. He's, Justin Jefferson's pissed off over there. Jordan Addison, they don't know where he is. Like all of those little things. And that's why I was looking forward to this 3-game stretch, regardless of the record. It's not exactly fun football to watch. I know a lot of people are probably checked out and watching the Wild right now because they can't handle what they deem meaningless football. But I think the stretch has a lot of meaning right now. I mean, Washington was a good starting point. We kind of looked at it. We said, okay, the Commanders, they're kind of checked out. They're not a good football team. What happens when they play a Dallas team that's still in the playoff race, fighting for their season? And can JJ McCarthy, and there were throws last night. I know they weren't perfect footwork. Chris Collinsworth was all over it too, just kind of like, and he made a good point too, that some of the throws that McCarthy is making, I think it was the touchdown to Naylor, he's like up in the air, and they're like, if somebody comes in low, they're going to mess up your knee. Like those are things that are there. But to try and correct that during the season when JJ McCarthy hasn't had a year to work on those kinks and everything else, like it's bizarre just looking back on how all this is handled. And if he plays well against the Giants, I'm very interested to see what happens against Detroit and Green Bay, because he's already beaten Detroit once, and that was not a perfect start, but he showed a lot of flashes. And then Green Bay doesn't have Micah Parsons anymore or Devontae Wyatt. So what happens there? And I know I've written about the Packers being 6 deep at every position. They're the perfect team in the perfect town with the perfect photographers and the perfect podcasters and perfect.
But master of none.
Yes. But I don't know. I think it would be very fun to knock the Packers out of the playoffs. And they'll say
somebody has a prediction on the line. So,
Yeah. Well, I said they would finish in last place. So that's not happening. But like Vikings come in, and if the Packers don't take care of business, they got Chicago this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, the Vikings in the last game. Who do they play in the middle there? I gotta look it up. But
do they have the Jaguars?
Let's see. Oh, Ravens. Yep.
Oh.
So they play the Ravens. That's not an easy game.
They can lose all 3 of those.
Yeah. So, and I think they're a better team than just falling apart without Parkinson's, because they won 11 games without him last year. But I don't know if JJ McCarthy plays like he did on Sunday. I think they're at least going to be super competitive in those games.
Yeah, I would say his last 2 games, when he came back against Detroit, he was solid, but he still had some things here and there. I would say these last 2 games, he's played a lot better than he did in that Detroit game. So it makes you feel good about going into the next Detroit game, which they are also missing Brian Branch, and they are missing, and Kirby Joseph hasn't played in a long time. He's probably not going to play for the rest of the year. I think it's lining up really good for McCarthy to perform well. I think they've gotten over this hump where they found, a scheme and a way to run the offense that makes him comfortable. Now I think the next objective should be to, figure out why him and Justin Jefferson are just not connecting, because for whatever reason it's not working. I'm not too worried about it because Justin Jefferson he's really good, and eventually, things are going to work out. But right now, Jalen Nailor should not be having a better connection with JJ McCarthy than Justin Jefferson, who's getting paid an average $35 million a year by the Vikings. So I feel like that should be more of a priority. And I know he distracts defenders and brings guys with him, but that's not what he's paid to do. He's paid to make plays with the ball in his hands, and he had a couple opportunities last night. He had that touchdown that got called back by the ineligible man downfield or whatever, with Josh Oliver not lining up on the line of scrimmage. And then he had one in the end zone that he probably should have caught too. But yeah, I like the way that the offense is running. And I posted this out on my Twitter account today. Is it possible that Kwesi Adofo-Mensah set up this roster the way that it should be set up around a rookie quarterback by, beefing up the offensive line, adding a more physical running back so that you can have a durable backfield in Jordan Mason, extending Josh Oliver, so you can have a more, physical, better rushing attack so that you can rely more on that with a young quarterback and take the pressure off of him. And then Kevin O'Connell is the one who's just been kind of stubborn about switching his offensive philosophy over to one that fits his personnel better and fits his young quarterback better, who, organizations fail young quarterbacks before young quarterbacks fail organizations. And in the beginning part of this year, you could argue that the Vikings have been failing JJ McCarthy, and I think this portion of him returning since his concussion, I think that they are doing a lot better job at not failing JJ McCarthy. But I think we got to take a step back in the offseason and just kind of figure out, are Kwesi and Kevin on the same page? Is Kwesi doing, one thing because he thinks it's better for the roster, the way it's constructed, and then is Kevin just being like, well, I'm going to run my offense the way it is no matter what, regardless of who's out there, which is not the way to approach your team. But, they got to kind of meet in the middle, because I feel like Kwesi gets a bad rap for, some guys failing or whatever and draft or whatever, but he put together a pretty good offseason plan this year, and I don't really think it's his fault that it some of it hasn't worked out. It's been injuries, and then it's been Kevin O'Connell just being like, no, I'm going to run my offense the way it runs no matter what. Like, I don't care who's out there. I'm going to pretend like JJ McCarthy's Sam Darnold or Kirk Cousins, and he's going to have to make the plays. It's not my fault. They have to go out there and execute. So we will see.
I think that's a good point, because with Justin Jefferson, I think it's going to get fixed.
Mhm.
Like, they're going to work out in the offseason. It's not like JJ McCarthy is going to be like, no, I have this family vacation.
Are there going to be any slow
planned. I
motion
can't do
videos?
this. What's that?
Are there going to be any slow motion videos?
Probably,
Yeah.
With the mumble rapper trap beat in the back, just like getting on the grind.
Some high school in Minnesota, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe Adam Thielen will show up. Hey,
Okay.
guys. Hey, how are you guys doing?
Me, I quit on you.
Yeah, just quit on the team.
Oh, he's playing tonight. I forgot about that.
The relationship between, the chemistry between Jefferson and McCarthy would figured out, because Jefferson did miss time in training camp with that hamstring injury. Then McCarthy was out with that ankle injury, and they haven't played a lot. But like you said, it is weird that, okay, he can complete passes to Jalen Nailor and Jordan Addison
really well,
once in a while, but it's not.
And Hockenson now too.
Yeah. I mean, he's figuring it out. Like, once he figures out, hey, this is how you throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, I think it's a very small problem. I think the bigger problem is, what is the relationship between Kevin O'Connell and JJ McCarthy right now? Because the rushing touchdown that he had, he does the fake, great play call, wide open, walks into the end zone, and he hits the gritty at about the 2 or 3 yard line.
The McGritty.
The McGritty, they're calling it. Yes, that's what the kids are calling it now. But after the game, Kevin O'Connell kind of reprimanded him about it, and JJ McCarthy came out and said, hey, They told me not to do it, made me really want to do it, so I just did it. Because it's having fun out there. You like to see it, especially after the way the first, like, he's probably just saying, F it. I'm just going to go out there and have fun. But I mean, when it comes to the offense, like, this is my biggest concern. And I wrote about this at Zone Coverage. Like, the Vikings are set up for a rebound in 2026. Because like, you look at all the little things that are going on right now, and you got, Michael Parsons tears his ACL. They're saying 9 months. He did the whole, motivational quote on his X, and then he had a picture of the lion with his eye gouged out. Like, whatever gets you going, bro, I guess. Like, good luck with your recovery. Detroit seems to be falling apart right now. I mean, all those hard practices, their bodies can't seem to handle it. And the other thing too with the Lions, I was going to bring that up. So they did miss a call in yesterday's game. And as somebody who writes for a Lions site, I was like, okay, gauge the temperature of the fan base. Like, hey, this second string linebacker is not really doing too well. Like, we should do something here. No, it was like all refs. Like, the refs screw us. They absolutely hate us. Detroit versus everybody, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Bullshit. Because I will call bullshit on that, because every other commercial has Aiden Hutchinson, whether he's selling insurance, whether he's shaking his junk for Haynes, whether he's battling a Sesame Street character with Troy Polamalu for Head and Shoulders.
He's a bunch of
Amon-Ra, he's got that upside down cake thing that he ripped off from the D3 college player or whatever. And Dan Campbell's on every fucking Applebee's commercial. Like, the NFL likes you guys. You're breaking down. Everybody is getting hurt because Dan Campbell basically runs a boot camp every practice. We know because Mike Zimmer did the same damn thing in Minnesota. So the refs. I know you've only been watching football for 3 years when the Lions got good, but I mean, the refs aren't against you every single game. They miss calls. I'm sorry you feel hurt, but there are other things you can worry about because your season's on the line and you need your fifth string defensive back now. So and then there's the Bears, who are the 2022 Vikings. Not to interrupt you, I'm just
no.
kind of completing the thought here. You look at this fourth place schedule, JJ McCarthy finishing it out. I could see a 2026 thing if Kevin O'Connell doesn't lose his mind and go, Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold offense, baby. We're doing footwork drills all summer.
Yeah, it's going to be an important. There's going to be a lot. I feel like a lot of tea leaves to read this offseason, where someone's going to be talking to this reporter and someone's going to be talking to this reporter, and there's going to be conflicting reports and blah, 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 blah. So that'll be fun. But I was going to say, I saw a video today of a Chiefs fan complaining about how the refs have it out for the Chiefs. And I almost spit out whatever I had in my mouth, because what? That is the last team that should be complaining about the refs are out. These games are rigged. They're out to get the Chiefs. Are you serious? Like, come on, man. But yeah, like this offseason, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Kevin O'Connell was reluctant to switch his offense the way that he did. It took the Max Brosmer game where he just literally shit his pants on the field to change his mindset and be like, okay, maybe I gotta dial it back a little bit. This undrafted rookie who could be our next Brock Purdy couldn't even handle a throw when he's going to the ground. But I think he was reluctant, and then there's part of me also that thinks that, like, now he's kind of like, it's working really well, and like, I don't want to keep doing this, but it's working so well, and like, I feel like he's going to be hesitant to want to keep doing it because he has his offensive philosophy and he wants to stick to it. But he came from the Rams, and Sean McVay with the Rams is now running, he's running the same scheme or whatever, but he's using a lot more heavier personnel packages with like 3 tight ends. And, sometimes they'll have no receivers on the field especially when they have, well, not Devontae Adams right now, he's hurt, but, you have Puka Nacua out there and Devontae Adams, and you take those guys off the field. People are like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? But no, like Sean McVay, he wants to win. And I think It's produced really good results because the Rams are arguably the best team in the NFL this year. Matthew Stafford's having an MVP year. So like you can't look at that and be like, oh well, that's just that's Sean McVay. He always gets everything right. No, it's because he figured things out and switched his system to adjust to. Because like I feel like Kevin O'Connell's system of like going deep, like it doesn't really work a whole lot in the NFL right now anymore. A lot of teams have adjusted to eliminating those deep passes. I feel like those we don't see those as much as maybe we used to a few years ago when Mahomes was just like chucking it up to Tyreek Hill all the time. Even I'm thinking of who is the dude that went deep a bunch of times for the Vikings in 2018. That's like all he did. I can't remember, but he was like
Robinson.
maybe.
No, I know.
I think
I know who you're
yeah,
talking
he
about.
caught a touchdown against the Rams.
It's not DeMarcus Robinson.
No, it's not him.
What is his name?
I remember he came from Washington. He played with Kirk in Washington.
Keep talking. I'll look it up.
Okay. But like I feel like the NFL defenses have adjusted to a system like Kevin O'Connell's, and he's kind of like just kind of been like, no, we're still gonna run that. What do we got?
Aldrick Robinson.
Yes.
I was right on the last name, but
yeah, I don't see too many of him, going out there just being, deep ball guy. There aren't a whole lot of people out there I feel like that are like that right now. Even Sam Darnold's not throwing deep really this year. So I think Kevin O'Connell has to do a lot of self-coaching, a lot of self-scouting this offseason, and I'll be curious to see if he actually does any of it or if he will just do the thing again where he talks about doing it and adjusting it all off season long, and then when he gets to the games, he'll just fall back to what he's used to. Also, like we just don't know what coaching staff is going to be back. If I feel like some changes need to be made. Probably, I don't think you can bring back the entire coaching staff again next year and expect different results. And then are they going to make adjustments in the front office? There's a lot that they have to figure out this offseason. But yes, it is setting up to have a rebound year in 2026 because the Vikings, this is what they do every other year. They play really well. They get a first or second place schedule. Then they play really poorly. They get a third or fourth place schedule. And then they play really well. And then they get a first or second place schedule. And then they don't play well. Like it's just this never ending cycle. And it's always, disappointing. But here we go again.
I think one of two things are going to happen. There's two doors in front of Kevin O'Connell right now. One, he learns from his mistakes because there were a lot of them. I mean, the offense is just part of this puzzle. Like the fact they volunteered for that Euro trip, and I know it was only 10 days or whatever, but I mean, it sounded like
I don't know if that was his
hated
choice.
it.
Yeah, I don't know if that was his choice.
Do you think whose choice do you think it was? Was it the Wolves?
I don't. Yeah.
Because I mean,
I feel like they probably had more of a say in it maybe than other stuff because, they want that. They probably wanted that opportunity to be the first to play in Dublin, and then they like playing in London. The Vikings have played in London like every other year since like the last few years. So I feel like the Wolves probably wanted like to be with that team that like played in two different countries 2 straight weeks to just have that like notoriety because for whatever reason they like stuff like that. So I feel like yeah, it probably could have been that, and Kevin O'Connell would have been like, yeah, it's fine, we'll do it. Who cares? It'll be fine. And then like halfway into it, they're like, 6 more sleeps, 5 more sleeps, 4 more sleeps, no more sleeps.
We're almost there. Anybody seen Jordan? Is Jordan anywhere? Like, is there a body cam somewhere?
That's when Carson Wentz's arm started to fall off too.
Yes, and JJ McCarthy's ankle ballooned because
he had to go on the trip.
Yeah, just mistakes were made. We could say that. And you know what? There are some things out of his control. You say, okay, well, Kwesi built the roster correctly. I would disagree with that because they chose the wrong players to add to the mix. Jonathan Allen is a failed signing. Javon Hargrave
notice
or
how I didn't
Javon.
mention any of the defense.
Yeah. I mean, Javon Hargrave was a failed signing.
Yeah.
Letting Cam Bynum walk was a bad move. And I know Alec Lewis of The Athletic has said that part of it is the coaching staff making those decisions. But I mean, there were some mistakes made in personnel. There's been a lot of mistakes in coaching.
He signed Jalen
And I
Redmond,
mean,
though.
what's that?
He signed Jalen Redmond,
Correct.
and he drafted
No,
Dallas Turner.
I'm not saying fight.
No,
I don't think
we're gonna go
anybody
back
should
and
be
forth. We're going back. No, I'm
like
kidding.
I said, but I mean, I don't think anybody should be fired. Like that.
No.
That's the thing right now.
No, I
think
think
at
a lot
this
of people.
point,
I think a lot of people are expecting Quasi to be fired this offseason. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think they give it one more year.
Yeah.
Like this whole partnership.
Yeah.
And like, who knows, next year they can make all the right buttons and they're making memes and Kevin O'Connell's wearing a mustache in the war room again. Like, I don't know. Like all those things could happen.
Oh, he can do that, but JJ can't do the gritty in the end zone.
What's that?
I said McCarthy or O'Connell, he can wear a mustache, but JJ McCarthy can't do the gritty in the end zone. Only the coach can have some fun.
I mean, it is kind of funny how like little things just become big things with JJ McCarthy. Like Wes Phillips and Jordan Addison get DUIs and it's not a big deal, but gritty into the end zone, we're going to be pretty upset that footwork's got to go. Yeah. I mean, God forbid he had a kid too. I mean, that's really high up on the spectrum.
I will give Kevin O'Connell a minor break and say that there are certain people who cover the team who know that if they post something in a certain way without giving context, that it's going to draw more attention to that. Because I think this whole thing with the gritty thing was blown out of proportion by a post that if you watch the press conferences, you wouldn't even thought anything about it. Like the way that O'Connell, it was like a playful thing. And same thing with JJ, it was more like joking around, like kind of like he's my dad and, he's going to tell me stuff not to do, but it's going to make me want to do more. Like, I think we've all been in that position before.
Are you saying media members would stir the pot? Are you saying that somebody would
I'm a member of the media
like that?
Yeah. As a member of the media, yes, I fully admit that. That's definitely part of the strategy, but there are ways to stir the pot without deceiving people, and I feel like sometimes that line has been crossed more than often this year.
Well, football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on the action. Playing Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. I've been playing Underdog for years, and let me tell you just how easy it is. Every Sunday, wake up, have some coffee, and I log on to Underdog and make some entries right on the app. Unfortunately, Jackson Dart concussions is not something that you can make a pick on. But you could probably do things like Jackson Dart passing yards, Jackson Dart rushing yards, maybe some touchdowns. This is all assuming he's playing. And maybe you're feeling good about JJ McCarthy's passing yards. So you want to go higher on JJ McCarthy's passing yards? Or you would have been pretty excited on Sunday night when JJ McCarthy went into the end zone because you can do what I do. I just do touchdowns. So higher 0.5 touchdowns. Make a entry with a couple entries and you can make a lot of money that way, especially if you choose some nondescript players that can really build up your multiplier. Download the app today, sign up with the promo code The Age, which is all one word, to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code The Age. Underdog, make picks, win money. You must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer is not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. If you are concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. And in New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. Before we go, I just want to talk about JJ McCarthy a little bit more because he's been playing a little bit better as of late. Already had this graphic on the screen, but we jumped around. That's totally okay for today's show. But I will say this about McCarthy. I think he should be the starter in 2026, but you have to get legitimate competition. So I don't think you're trading for Daniel Jones. I don't think you're signing Kyler Murray or trading.
You're not trading for
I
Mac
think
Jones.
who did I? Kyler
Yeah,
Jones?
you said Daniel Jones.
Oh, Daniel
He's a
Jones.
free
Correct.
agent.
Yes.
Also tore his ACL or whatever. So.
Yeah, probably not. Now, although that wouldn't have stopped some Vikings fans from giving Kirk Cousins a $180 million a couple years ago, but Daniel Jones not as much of a track record. Trade for Mac Jones, trade or sign Kyler Murray. Aaron Rodgers. You know what? If that's your competition for JJ McCarthy, fine. The only thing is,
you're not. Hold on, you're not bringing Aaron Rodgers in to be competition.
That's the thing.
If you're
like
bringing
he's
him
not
in,
going to agree to that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm tossing out hypotheticals here. I think you need to bring in a house of cards, like a Gardner Minshew, a Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe there is a quarterback that kind of shockingly finds his way onto the market or whatever, and you just sign him. Who are you suggesting?
I said Spencer Rattler, but I think he's too young.
And I think that would be too like it's got to be like some actual resistance.
KOC's got to. He's going to want someone who's older, like Carson Wentz age, maybe a little younger.
Well, what they can't do is what they did last year.
Yeah.
Where it was like everybody's like, "Are you sure you're going to sign a backup quarterback?" They didn't have a backup quarterback during the draft, and all of a sudden, Kwesi's sitting there in the 5th round, like Sam Howell. Yeah. We got him. We got Sam Howell, baby, and like KOC is like, "What the hell is this? This guy can't do it. Can't run my offense," which was kind of should have been a warning sign when we look back on it. But
I mean, you know what? I actually think Sam Howell might have run it better, might have run the offense better earlier in the year than JJ did because of just how pass happy because when he was in Washington, he threw the ball all the time. He didn't throw it well, but he threw it all the time. So I feel like there were some traits probably that maybe Kwesi saw and was like, oh yeah, this guy likes to throw the ball. He'll fit in well, but it didn't work out. And I think Nick Mullins leaving is a lot bigger deal than probably people think because he was kind of like the perfect backup. Like he's not gonna like challenge for the QB1 job, but he's capable of filling in, and then he can also help whoever is QB1 like learn the system and know what's going on. So I feel like that had a bigger impact on anything. And I wonder if they thought that he was gonna come back, and he was just like, "Nah, I'm going to Jacksonville where it's warm out."
Got scorned by the Daniel Jones offer, probably.
Oh, and what's his face? Udinski went to
Udinski. Yep.
Which also might be another underrated loss for the Vikings this offseason because Josh McCown, not sure he's that great.
It is funny. It's kind of like the I don't know. It's like when you buy a used car off the lot and you're like, this car is great. Look at all the it's super clean, it's super nice, whatever. And then like
and you open it
5,000 miles later, the engine's smoking and like your tires falling off on the highway and stuff. Like it's kind of what the Vikings coaching staff was like with Josh McCown. It's like, oh yeah, he's a red hot candidate. And now it's like,
yeah. Well, I'm always a little wary of the guys who weren't like didn't even make a Pro Bowl in their NFL career, and then they go on to be coaches. Like there's a lot of stories where like Kevin O'Connell, obviously, like he's done well and he wasn't a really good NFL quarterback, but like there's a lot of guys where people are just like, oh, they're a former quarterback, they know what they're doing. It's like that's not a guarantee. Not a guarantee. So because sometimes in the NFL, all it takes is you just got to know people. Just like keep your job going for 12 years, Chase Daniel. And then so yeah. But yeah, not TJ O'Sullivan, JT O'Sullivan. Like he's really good at analyzing football, and he wasn't awesome during his NFL career, but he knows a lot about a lot. But I digress.
The one thing that has popped up, and I don't even know, like here's the thing. Here's the thing that would throw me off my path of JJ McCarthy should be the starter. The whole Joe Burrow thing, I don't know what to think. If we had a show on Thursday, we probably would have addressed it.
Yeah.
The reason we did not is because I don't think it's like, I know we live in the, top 5 trade destinations for Justin Jefferson world. There was a very bad one by FanDuel that was out there with like 2 first-round picks and Keon Coleman for Justin Jefferson to get him to the Bills.
The Vikings trading a receiver to the Bills for a first-round pick? That's weird. I never heard of that before.
Seemed to work out okay the last time they did that, but I don't think this one would work out as well.
Next year.
Burrow, the thing with Burrow is this for me, and this is probably more thought than I should entertain it with. Are you really, I don't want to say upgrading, because you're obviously upgrading from Joe Burrow to JJ McCarthy, but the situation doesn't get any better. Your offensive line's still leaky, which maybe Burrow helps out with that, but that hasn't been the case in Cincinnati.
Gets sacked a lot.
Your cornerback room still, do you have 3 corners on this roster? Like, that's weird. Your safeties need some help because Harrison Smith's not coming back. No offense to him, I don't really want him back in 2026 because he's kind of getting long in the tooth. And I mean, people will take that the wrong way, but I mean, it's true. Like John Cena on Saturday, right? He's in the sleeper hole from Gunther for like 20 minutes, and everybody's like, "Don't give up, John, don't give up." And he's like, "He got me. He got me." And then he's like, "Oh, why did he give up? Why did he give up?" But I mean, the Vikings are the same way. Like Joe Burrow, I don't think you might get 11, 12 win season out of him, but I think there's not enough he can do to like absolutely fix this team. So that's where I kind of get hesitant of taking the big swing. If he's available, ask away, like see what it would take, because I think it would be a very fun swing, but I just don't think it's realistic. And I think that it's a better long-term strategy to let McCarthy play, see what you have. And I mean, if he came out in these 5 games and he was a disaster, I'd be like, hell yeah, go for it. Give the Bengals a call. But I think with all these situations, I think JJ McCarthy is still the best answer for the Vikings.
Yeah, I think we've talked about earlier in the season about how, like, this is JJ McCarthy. He's trying to figure out how to be in the NFL and be a good quarterback in the NFL. This season is also like Kevin O'Connell figuring out how to develop a young quarterback as well, because he hasn't really had success doing that ever in his career. Like he had Johnny Manziel. Obviously, he had his own problems. So I'm not gonna like put that on Kevin O'Connell. He had Dwayne Haskins, who didn't do too well. There's Jaron Hall, Josh Dobbs, like a bunch of young quarterbacks who didn't do a whole lot under Kevin O'Connell. And for someone who's who has the name tag of QB guru, you would think that he could get anything out of anyone, but that's not the case. He needs someone who can run a system like he needs a 7-year vet to run his system the way he probably wants it, or else he's going to have to wait and have patience. So I think like this year was also about Kevin O'Connell learning how to develop a young quarterback as much as it was JJ McCarthy learning how to develop into a solid NFL quarterback. With Joe Burrow, there are pros and cons where, like, with McCarthy, like, straight up, yeah, obviously, you would take Joe Burrow over McCarthy. Like, if you didn't have to worry about money or anything like that, obviously, you would take Joe Burrow over McCarthy. But you have to factor in how much lower a salary cap hit McCarthy has over the next 2 to 3 years, which is way lower, which allows you to build your team around him better than you would be able to if you had Joe Burrow. Then you have to factor in the fact that Joe Burrow has missed, I believe, 17 games in the last 3 seasons. He's not the most durable quarterback. He tore his ACL in his first year. So like he would be the perfect Vikings quarterback for everyone to get excited about, and then he get hurt in like week 3 of the season and be done for the year. Not to be all I'm trying to
Fatalistic.
masochist, but yeah, but that's just how being a Vikings fan goes. But yeah, with Joe Burrow, I don't think the Bengals are gonna get rid of him. I think they're gonna fire their coach and bring someone in that Joe Burrow wants. I don't know who that would be. Like Ed Orgeron, like
Ed Orgeron in the NFL would be great.
it wouldn't. It wouldn't last very long. Maybe Joe Brady, because Joe Brady was his OC, I think, at LSU. So that would be interesting. But I don't think Burrow's going anywhere. I think losing sucks in the NFL. You saw the Vikings last night. You saw them last week. Like, they're not going to the playoffs, but it feels way better to win a game than it does to lose a game, for sure. Especially if you're Justin Jefferson, you're not getting the ball. Like, the wins make those days feel a lot better. And I think Joe Burrow, he's gone through a lot this year, being hurt, maybe some other stuff as well. But I think he knows that big changes are coming in Cincinnati, and he's probably just getting ready for those. And he's also a weird dude. So, like, him saying weird stuff or being cryptic, like, it doesn't kind of throw me off, because I feel like he's always been like that. I watched the quarterback series with him in it, and he was just he's a different cat. I'll leave
But
it
not in a bad way.
leave it at that. No.
No, like some people are different, and you're like, what's wrong with that guy?
Like during the bye week last year, I think he took like him and maybe the offensive lineman or some other quarterbacks. They went to like a natural history museum and got like behind the scenes to look at like the fossils that they were like brushing off and stuff. And he was like, "That was fucking cool. Like, dinosaurs are fucking cool." It's like, all right.
Your kids would agree.
Oh yeah,
They'd be like, "You did what? He bought a
and
Batmobile."
they play a kids game also, which makes the gritty thing even funnier, that people make it out to be a big deal, because like nobody has a problem when Justin Jefferson does it, but the second JJ McCarthy does it, or God, he might fumble the ball. He's putting the ball out there. You did it.
Right after we break down Shedeur Sanders' latest start on First Take,
Yeah.
we're going to talk
Get the
about
fuck outta
JJ
here.
McCarthy.
Well, it's not Shadeur's fault. The Browns switched his wristband and switched all his plays, so they're sabotaging.
Browns were mean to him again. Never Shadeur's fault.
Kevin Stefanski, I do believe Kevin Stefanski, like, at this point, probably wants to be fired because he's just tired of fucking dealing with all that shit.
Do you think it's like football Office Space, where he's just like sitting at home, just like, I don't think I'm going to go anymore?
And then he gets like a promotion.
Yeah, we're going to give you president of football operate. No, I don't want this. Like that.
I want to leave.
I want to coach. I want to coach the Bengals.
I think
yes,
that could be one. Yeah, I could see. Well, that would be fun. I think he might go to the Giants, because I think weren't the Giants trying to bring him in as an OC, and that's when Zimmer blocked that.
Giants is a possibility.
Jackson Dart.
Titans. But I don't think he'd want to go. That's a dumpster fire right now. Like, you got Cam Ward, but outside of that,
who wants to work for the Titans? Like, they fire their GM every other year.
Their owner is like the opposite of.
They had a terrible owner before.
Yeah,
and they
downgraded.
The person who passed away. Yeah, their daughter took over, and it got worse.
It's like the opposite of Irsay. Like, Irsay died, and then it's his daughter, right? Or was it daughter-in-law?
They have 3 daughters.
Yeah, the 3 daughters. But like one of them's like awesome, where she's like,
she's on the field. She's got like the headset on.
She's buying drinks for fans, just like, thanks for coming out. Like, it's a 180 vibe change.
It's probably going to get to a point where it's like, now the tuxedos are kind of fucked up.
Yes, great reference. But anyway, so if Joe Burrow and the Vikings get connected in the future, you can read about it at the Viking Age. But until then, we got some great stuff going on over there right now. What's going on over there, Adam?
Well, it's an interesting time, because the Vikings are obviously not competing for the playoffs. So we're doing a little bit of everything, where we're still sticking to coverage of JJ McCarthy, because everyone wants to find out about him and all the fun stuff that he's doing, and him disobeying Kevin O'Connell. But no, there's that, and then we're starting to get deeper into looking ahead at the draft. I saw another mock today with Vikings drafting a running back in the first round, which still hesitant to want to do that, but we'll see. I'll get hyped up enough for it probably by draft time to be on board. But and then maybe some early free agent stuff and looking ahead, because I think Jalen Naylor, as much as of a connection that he might have built with JJ McCarthy this year, I think he's starting to get out of the Vikings price range to bring back, especially when they have someone like Ty Felton. They use a 3rd round pick on him. You should see what you got in that kid before you spend a bunch of money on Jalen Naylor, unless you trade Jordan Addison. But we'll see about that. But yeah, go check out thevikingage.com. Always lots of fun stuff over there.
And of course, my Vikings work is at zonecoverage.com, along with Twins work. Twins signed a free agent today, so that's not a good one, but
What?
yeah. Hey, they spent a whole $7 million. We should be, Paulad's probably like, you should be grateful for this. Okay, yeah. Fuck off.
That's their high price. That's their big spending.
Yes. And I also write about the Minnesota Wild at Hockey Wilderness. Fun times over there with Quinn Hughes, who is always dead inside, but a really good hockey player.
He's good.
Yes, he's a good.
Listen, I'm pretty sure like Kobe and Michael Jordan were dead inside as well, and Tiger Woods, and that's why they're so good.
But Kobe and Jordan, like Quinn Hughes looks like he's on just like horse tranquilizers during a game. Like just kind of, like, is he
Hockey's
okay?
different.
Like, no, he's fine. He's just no smelling salts or anything. But yes, that's what's going on over there. Also, RBN Network. If you want to hate watch the rest of the NFC North or get prepared for the final 2 North Division matchups the Vikings have this year.
On Netflix.
Yes, on Netflix with Diana Rossini on the sideline.
Which the games mean nothing now.
Yeah, you're better off
Commanders
watching basketball.
And Cowboys. Yeah. Lions, Vikings, and then at night it's Broncos and Chiefs, which is going to be what? Minshew versus Bo Nix? That'll be fun.
Exciting. Dairyland Express for the Packers, the Windy City for the Chicago Bears, and Detroit Jock City for the Detroit Lions. But of course, this is the Viking Age podcast, the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. I am Chris Schad at 30 Chris Schad. He is Adam Patrick at Adam Patrick NFL. We do this every Tuesday and Friday morning right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel, and we're in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can spread the word to the masses. For Adam Patrick, I am Chris Schad. 4 letters, 1 word. Skull.